so much for talking to Choose
A
80s.
pleasure.
We've heard all about your new album, Sisterhood. It sounds amazing. So you've got 10 female singers and songwriters that you're celebrating within this album. How did you go about choosing which
Which
artist you were going to celebrate?
do you know that was very difficult because obviously there are at least 50 that I chose from, but
Yeah.
but you can only really have 10 on an album. Once I thought about it, and so really, I suppose I decided to then choose not in a way generation to generation. I saw it in my head as the passing of the torch. So Bessie Smith came first, but when you had the Depression, jazz, the new age was jazz, and so that took over from Bessie. So Billy took over from Bessie, and I suppose I was kind of thinking like that a little in my head. But I chose those 10 because they're significant to my musical story, to my own journey.
Right.
Nina Simone I went to see 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Ah.
3 times. Each time she was very angry with the audience and walked off. But that's the time that you did get her on stage was worth it.
Yeah, I bet.
It's phenomenal. I'd love to have seen Janis Joplin. My gosh, that would have just
Oh,
been
yes. Yeah, I would have
and
loved
I
that.
nearly played Janis twice in
Oh,
2 different movies.
Oh,
So I have a real affinity to her, and a lot of people. In fact, the guy who wrote "Piece of My Heart," which was a big hit for her, came to one of my concerts. Very late night. He was quite drunk, and he said that I was the nearest thing to Janis Joplin that he'd ever seen.
oh,
And
wow, what a compliment.
it was a real compliment.
yeah.
And he was just a drunk American. I thought, yeah, of course you wrote. Yeah. So I don't think I was particularly nice to him. Anyway, he told me that Paramount Movies were making a film about her life and that I should be seen for it. And I didn't know to believe it, but the next day I read in the Guardian a little excerpt that said that Melissa Etheridge had been cast as Janis and had run off with the producer's wife.
Oh, wow.
I thought, well, that gets interesting, doesn't it?
It does.
Janis would have loved that. So I did get seen. So I went up for it as the acting part, and I learned ball and chain, and I had Texan dialect lessons, and I was led to believe I got the part. And then it got shelved because at the same point somebody offered it to Britney Spears. I mean, we're talking 24 years ago. I don't think she was long out of the womb.
No.
No.
But it was the wrong casting.
Yeah.
So
her daddy's eye.
so the project ended up by getting shelved, and then years later, what is her name? Renée Zellweger played.
Oh, right, yeah.
It went straight to DVD, so it wasn't a great film.
No.
Oh, we must look out for that. Yeah.
And I did write a song called "I've Put All My Money on a Horse Named Janis Joplin."
Oh, did
Oh,
you go?
So a good thing came out of it.
you had the last laugh there.
But these women are extraordinary,
Yeah.
and what's fantastic is the 4 living singers that I've written about: Kate Bush, Annie Lennox, Joni Mitchell, and Ricky Lee Jones. They're all at this moment having real success.
They are.
Yes.
They are, yeah. Have you
Yes.
had any feedback from them?
I haven't yet sent it to any of them.
Oh, right.
I put out feelers because
Yeah.
we're only just going, it's just being pressed up at the moment. So I thought I'd wait until everything was completed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well,
They
fingers
should
crossed.
they should take them as a compliment because
Oh,
Yeah.
most
they're
definitely.
totally original songs written in their genre about them, celebrated.
Oh. You must have
I
felt
bet they'll be interested.
such a lot of pressure to do them.
Justice.
Do them
Yeah.
some justice, yeah. But
Yeah.
my right-hand man is Tony Remy, who worked for years with Annie Lennox, and
Right.
so he is a phenomenal musician, and so we wrote them between us. And I wrote the lyrics with my husband during the second lockdown.
Yeah.
And when Tony was able to come and stay with me for a while, he brought his MIDI keyboard and his computer, and I just read the lyrics to him. My brother was filming all of this, by the way, so it's all captured.
Oh.
And we both agreed at the same point that we should write it in the genre of the artist. And that was when it got really exciting for us because it called on everything we'd ever learned.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
The bands we sung in for Miriam, rock, pop, folk, Janis
brilliant.
Joplin. It's
We
all
can't
there.
can't
So
wait to hear
he was
it.
the perfect writing partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're performing in London. Are you performing the album in London in
Yes.
October?
So we're going to launch the album and do the first concert at the Cadogan Hall, which is a beautiful venue. And I'm actually going there tonight because I've got 6 brothers, but one of them is in the Gay Man's Chorus, which is a fantastic,
Right.
choir. And they're there for 3 nights at Cadogan Hall. So I'm going to go and watch my brother and check out the venue. So
Oh, fantastic. You'll get so excited there tonight.
yes. And I'm going to have many special guests. I have on the album anyway, but I have many special guests. I want to make it a big occasion.
Oh, brilliant.
But to fund this album, it's been quite a journey because obviously there was no work during that whole period.
No.
So normally I fund all my own albums because I'm my own record label.
How did you get funding, Sarah?
So I did it all through crowdfunding. So
Oh.
what I did was I did masterclasses where I taught singers that came from all over the country for a weekend. It happened twice. And I taught them 3-part backing vocals to 4 of my songs that they would come and sing at Ronnie Scott's with me. So
Wow,
brilliant.
fantastic.
Oh, what an opportunity.
yeah, a great opportunity, because you have to, if you're going to ask people to give you money, you've got to give something back.
Yeah.
So I set up a GoFundMe, which was pre-selling the album, and that brought in the money for myself, Tony, and my brother Rod to go to South Africa to film and record the Soweto Gospel Choir on Miriam Makeba's song.
Oh, wow.
My husband, who's an artist, he did painting and drawing weekends here where people came to stay with us. We fed them. Or I had a sewing machine where I was making things and selling them on eBay. You name it. I did it.
So this is a long line. You've had such a long list of albums, haven't you, Sarah? 16 solo albums, since 1989. That's a huge, impressive catalogue. And before, and you've had fame in Italy and Greece as well, haven't you?
Yes.
A lot of acclaim over there.
Well,
was that a surprise for you, or?
Well, it kind of happened in Italy. I when I left drama school, I went and joined an Italian rock band.
Oh.
And so I lived in Italy straight after drama school, and I was singing kind of in a Janis Joplin type way. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted English Janis Joplin. And so that started the love in Italy. And then I came back with the Communards all those years later. And then I came back supporting When Me and Mrs. Jones, which was my first single on my first solo album, was banned by Radio 1.
Oh, why was it banned?
It was banned as a possible lesbian song, which nobody had come out at that point. And because I'd had the #1 with the Communards, a gay band, they were terrified that I was a glamorous lesbian coming out of the closet.
Oh, no.
Because I didn't change it to Me and Mr. Jones. 1989, that's how we were.
Crazy, isn't it?
4 years later, KD Lang gloriously came out. I paved the way for her career.
Oh, there you go.
But it was the end. It kind of was the end of my career in this country at that point, because nobody would touch it. Because it was just about okay to be gay, but nobody had dealt with lesbianism. So I wasn't a lesbian, so I didn't get the gay press on my side or anything. It was but Simply Red asked me to support them at that point. So I went all over Europe supporting them, and because I had the red hair and my music was jazz soul, it absolutely suited them. Well, they treated me like I was a double act, not a solo act.
Oh, fantastic. What was Mick Hucknall like to be with?
What was Mick Hucknall? He had a lovely band.
He's got such a great voice, hasn't he?
He has a fantastic voice and great music. And my favourite track of theirs still is Holding Back the Years.
Oh,
His first song. I just think that's a beautiful, beautiful song written for
absolutely.
So we can't go on about talking about that song, the Don't Leave Me This Way, because obviously it's a mainstay for so many people's weddings, birthday parties. It's such a mammoth song. When you recorded it with the Communards, did you know when you recorded it that it was going to be that big? Sometimes you get a feeling about a song. Did you have that feeling?
No, I don't think we did. I think we just, Jimmy is such a disco fan, so it was his choice. We were in New York and we were trying to come up with all the extra songs, and we decided to do the duet of Lover Man by Billie Holiday, he and I, because we
Oh,
thought that was
yes,
quite a
yeah.
camp thing to do. And but Don't Leave Me This Way was his idea, and it was Mike Thorne, who was the producer, he'd produced so many bands in the 80s. He signed the Sex Pistols as an A&R man, but he produced all of Soft Cell, all of Bronski Beat, and then the Communards. And he had bought this Synclavia, which was an amazing computer, where we fed our voices into it, and it stretched the voice where you get that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
That was simulated at that point. You know, we've since been able to do that, but
Yeah, it was unique, wasn't
and
it?
I think that is kind of part of the hit.
Yeah,
His
definitely. It builds you
production,
up.
Yeah.
I think his production was a huge part of it, as well as the fact that Jimmy and I looked so odd together. You know, he was a wee red-headed man with the high voice, and I was the tall red-headed woman with the low voice. You know, it was just total reversal, and it was just great fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think one of the reasons that was so successful is it was after the miners' strike. We were in a real pickle in England at the time, and you needed a song to celebrate and dance around your handbag
Yeah.
to.
Oh,
And I
definitely.
think that the timing of that song was just perfect.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
We were
Such a
having
tonic.
great fun.
It was. And then talking about that song, Sarah, when you swapped lyrics, that was an amazing moment on Top of the Pops.
Yes, we
I
so
remember
nearly got pulled. You know, it was only because we were number one that wasn't pulled. We were taken into the office and
Yeah.
spoken.
Oh,
Because we were just at this point, it was our 6th week at number one, and we hated the fact that we weren't singing live. At that point, they would be miming, because every now and again they went through periods where people mimed rather than sung, and we could really sing. So I think we were at that point trying to let the audience know,
Yeah.
we're not singing, and this is wrong. So that's when we decided.
Yeah, because it was all smoke and mirrors, wasn't it, for the audience? We thought everybody was singing live, and I only found out quite recently that it was mainly recorded, wasn't it, in Top of the Pops?
Yeah.
And it's very small, that studio, isn't it? I've been in the Top of the Pops audience a few times.
Really is, isn't it? I was so shocked when I was there. It's not how it's presented to us on the TV. And
No, it's not.
I'd grown up watching Annie Lennox and Kate Bush and
Yes,
singers on Top of the Pops.
So obviously, with the hit with the Communards, you then went on tour, didn't you, for a year around the world? Yeah. That must have been amazing. Were there any funny incidents you can think of, or any highlights that stand out for you during that mad year of touring?
It was. I mean, I can remember at one point, because I mean we were real socialists. You know, we'd done the Red Wedge tour. We weren't into that whole private jet and limousine world.
No. Yeah.
And the record company sent a limousine to meet us at the airport, and Jimmy had talked to us all and said, we're not going on it, and we all went on the tube and wanting to make a point. And I thought that was very brave of him, because it was like saying, this is not us.
That's right, because Paul Weller was he was part of Red Wedge as well, wasn't he, Sarah, back in the day?
He's brilliant. He's a brilliant songwriter, and he went on for my 2 albums after that. I recorded an album called Blue Valentine, and he wrote me a song for that. So I've got an original Paul Weller song that I did.
Amazing.
Oh, brilliant. Which song was that, Sarah?
It's called Leaves Around the Door.
Right. Oh, we must have really a good listen.
Really beautiful. And I believe it to be the song he was writing about the end of his relationship with DC Lee. But I remember we were on the Red Wedge bus, myself and Richard, and we sat behind Paul and DC Lee, and nobody knew about this relationship at this point. We were both sitting, we were sort of talking away, gossiping away, and suddenly we saw Paul and Dee have a kiss, and it was like, and we thought we were in the very beginning of the relationship. I have no. I do have to give you a funny story about that song.
Please.
In January, I had my first knee replacement. Okay, so I just as I was going down, there was a guy with a mask who seemed to know who I was, and he said he was the anaesthetist assistant. and he said that you'll be in good hands. He said it's very nice anaesthetist. So I have an epidural, so I'm kind of going in and out of consciousness. I come around just at the point they're sawing off the leg, and they've got the radio on the background. Don't Leave Me This Way comes on. I am singing to myself as my knee is going, Don't Leave Me This Way. And the anaesthetist said to the surgeon, that's her, you know. And they were so shocked that they did my entire operation to spot it to that catalogue on Spotify.
No way.
And the last track, as it finished, the operation finished, was the song. I had a big hit in Italy called I'm Missing You. So you starts off to the knees, Don't Leave Me This Way, and then I'm missing you already. And that was a true story.
That's fate, isn't it? Did you slightly change the lyric to Don't Leave Me This Way?
Don't leave me this way. So my knee, I did a project in March where I toured with a string quartet doing songs of the Beatles, and I introduced my knee as Paul McCartney. But for this project, she is Nina Simone.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on your next leg of the tour, Sarah.
Thank you.
Before we
I'll come up with other names by then, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Sarah.
And to you, and try and come along to the Cadogan Hall. It'll be a great
we'd love to.
because it's women empowering women.
Oh, thank you so much. We'd love that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Before we go, would you
yes.
leave on a little quick burst of Don't Leave Me This Way?
Okay. Don't leave me this way, 'cause I can't survive. I can't stay alive without your love. Oh no, baby, no, don't leave me this way. 'Cause you know I just don't exist. I will surely miss your tender kiss. Don't you leave me this way. No, baby. My heart is for love and desire for you. So come on down and do what you gotta do. You started this fire in my soul. So can't see it burning, it's out of control. So come on down and satisfy me. 'Cause only your loving can set me free.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Thank you very much. You take care.
Hope to see you in October.
Bye-bye.